Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, It's All an Opportunity to Remember. What I mean by that is, life or the experience that we seems to be having is an experience of seeming separation. And of course, all kinds of things may seem to be happening here. And when we find ourselves either hurt by someone, I'm talking psychologically, or judging someone or something, blaming, whatever the case may be, we're overlooking one little detail. This world of appearances is designed to distract. That's about it. If I use the world of appearances, every event, as an opportunity to remember what I am, then I can see how everything is a gift because it's offering me, once again, the opportunity to realize that I am that which words cannot describe. And the way we remember that is by not believing the content of the mind. This is what we're not trying to fix the character. We're not trying to change or anything in the world of appearances, or the change can happen, but what I mean is that we're not allowing ourselves to be distracted by the world of appearances and resting in the being that I am. In other words, imagine that you are sleeping and you're dreaming. And in the dream somebody hurt you, somebody stole something from you, somebody betrayed you, it doesn't matter. And you find yourself getting upset. And let's say that you could hear my voice, which I'm next to you, sitting next to the bed. I'm telling you, what are you upset? Or asking you, why are you upset? And you say, I'm upset because this person stole something from me. I'm seeing that you're in the bed dreaming, nothing is really happening, but you believe in the content of the dream. So, that experience is simply a seeming appearance, which if you're not conscious of what you are, you believe the content of the dream, and now you're using the dream to keep yourself distracted. When in reality, now, if you're becoming conscious by listening to the voice that is next to you telling you, just withdraw the attention from it, it's all a dream. Now that is an opportunity for you to remember that you are in bed dreaming a dream. You see, that's why there's a lesson in the Course in Miracles, lesson number 5, that says, I'm never upset for the reasons I think. You see, we look at life and we think we're upset for all the things that seems to be happening, but in reality we're upset because we have forgotten who we are. And these videos, for example, are not about fixing your quote-unquote reality. It's not about fixing your dream. It's not about giving power to the illusion by reinforcing the belief in it. It's by remember who or what you are always. And the way we do so is very simple. The dream seems very real, of course, and it has to be convincing in order for you to believe in it. But you're not believing in the dream. You're believing in the interpretation of the dream. And the interpretation is a thought. So, when you do the investigation and rest in beingness, now you can see, you can perceive, perception happens, not you personally, but perception happens, but there's a recognition that is just what it is, and it has nothing to do with what I am. And what I am is that in which perception seems to appear and disappear. So we're drilling this information over and over and over again, so you come to the realization that you simply are. This is not a personal intellectual realization, it's the obvious, when there's no identification with the content of the mind. So now whenever something happens or seems to happen that distracts you or throw you off, now you know that that is a gift, as an opportunity that is being given for you to remember constantly what you truly are. Now, for this to really be able to be put into practice, assuming that, remember, you're not the one making the choice, it's what happens through you. Like right now, what is happening through apparently you and I is that this seeming interaction or encounter is taking place. At least in my experience, what I found out is that the only way that this can really be put into practice is when inner peace is the innermost priority. You see? When inner peace is the most important thing, then this is very simple. Why? Because the pursuing of things is the belief that once I get whatever I think I want, then I'm going to experience peace. But in reality, I'm not really wanting the peace that I am. I just want the object that I think is going to make me feel at peace. Inner peace is, technically speaking, withdrawing the attention from the appearances. And as long as there's a strong identification with who I think I am, I want to keep reinforcing that identification, even when I think that actually I want to do whatever it is that I'm doing in order to experience peace. You see? It's very subtle. That's why the last place where the sense of identity, call it ego, thought system, hides, it's actually in the seeking. But it's still an identification with a sense of identity. You see? The inner peace, or the peace, let's forget about inner. The peace that we are is when there's a withdrawal of attention from the world of appearances. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, the recognition that you are that mind dreaming the dream, let's call it peace for the sake of this example, is not when you find something in the dream that someone is going to help you feel better so then you can be at peace. It's when you withdraw the attention from the dream completely. You see? And the mind interprets this, that if I withdraw the attention from the dream, then what am I going to do here? What my life is going to be? It's going to be boring. I don't have excitement, don't things to do. No. When you withdraw the attention from the dream, what happens is you rest in peace. You experience the peace that passes all understanding. You are free. You see? Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But the problem is that the mind interprets the freedom as a death. You see? But in reality, the freedom is the freedom from distraction. While you still apparently, as a body, for example, as long as you're still supposedly here, life will continue. You'll continue to do whatever you're supposed to do. It's not that all of a sudden this whole world is going to disappear and you'll find yourself in a cave in the Himalayas or something like that, or leaving your family, or no, none of that. If anything, everything that you do here is enhanced by the love that you are, you see. So it's not that you stop being a good father or a good mother. If anything, you become a much better father and a much better mother. Why? Because you're not driven by fear, you're driven by love. Or I should say you're inspired by love, not driven or motivated by fear. And then whatever you find yourself doing here is simply an expression, an extension of the love and the peace that you are. The difference is that before you were acting because you were believing the content of the dream. Now you see how the inspiration expresses through you without believing the content of the dream. That is what is meant by living in the world with a mind that is not of it. You see? So these videos are not reinforcing the belief of who you think you are by trying to fix your life, by trying to fix your world, by trying to change anything. It's pointing always to the fact that you are no matter what. And now every single experience, call it good or bad, as a matter of fact, don't label it anything, but it doesn't matter what it may look like on the outside, you remain in the peace that passes all understanding. In other words, you remain happy. Because peace and happiness are the same thing. They're synonymous. We tend to associate happiness with pleasure, you see. And even peace we associate with pleasure. It's a quiet sense of pleasure, you know. And happiness, it's a lot of pleasure. No, but that's not really what we're talking about here. The peace, that the happiness that you are is right now if you don't believe the content of the mind. Let's put it to the test. We say this all the time. Right now, if you don't believe any thoughts, I didn't say the thoughts will not be there. Remember, the dream can be there. That's not a problem. The problem is believing in it. You see? So right now, if you don't believe any thoughts, Doesn't matter what the thought may say or suggest or whatever. It's just a thought. I mean, it's just basically a cloud. If you don't believe that cloud, if you don't believe in it right now, what remains? Remember, don't answer. If you answer, you went back to the mind, because I'm not talking to you, the person. I'm not asking you, the person. But again, this is the seeming encounter, the limitation of language, and we're using the best with that right now. I'm asking. See, I'm not even asking you. I'm just asking. The question appears. And the question is, right now, if you don't believe any thoughts, what remains? You see, you cannot answer. But that is the peace that passes all understanding. In other words, that is happiness. If you don't believe the thoughts, you're happy. If you don't believe the content of the mind, you're at peace. So you see that you don't need to find anything, to look for anything, to change anything, to anybody behave in a particular way for you to be happy and to be free, to be at peace. Do you see, this is experience, this is not theory. I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not giving you information so in the future you can put it into practice and then eventually with a lot of years of practicing you'll experience peace and happiness. No. I'm pointing to what you're sitting on right now. You're not seeing it right now, maybe. But now that I'm pointing to it, or it's being pointed to, now you can see, oh my God, yeah. It's just that the mind cannot grasp this because the mind is so used to drama, is so used to the belief that I'm a separate entity, is so used to the belief that happiness and peace will happen as a consequence of, that cannot even fathom the possibility that you're resting and sitting in happiness, in peace right now. But don't try to sugarcoat happiness and peace with a particular form. You know? Your peace and happiness no matter what. I told a story in a video, when I was dealing with a stomach virus, or I don't know, whatever was going on, and I was feeling really awful. Feeling wise, it was very uncomfortable, but I was still at peace and I was still happy. I wasn't laughing or anything, but I was happy because this is the background. It just so happens that on the surface there was movement. And in that case, the movement took the place of a stomach virus or whatever the case may be. And that movement can also take place in when I feel attracted to something. You see? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with feeling attracted to something. It's that we're using that also to remember of what I am. Because then that is what I used to pretend that when I get that, I'll be happy. Overlooking the happiness that you are, the peace that you are. So again, at the beginning, it seems like you're trying to sacrifice something. Then I cannot like this. I cannot feel attracted to this. I cannot feel a desire for this. No, all of that is going to neutralize itself. Don't worry about it. If there's the desire to do something, you see how life moves you in that direction. If you feel attracted to something, you can now pause for a moment and don't let the mind try to feed off of that attraction. And you see it, you sense it, you remember that you are. And if you're supposed to move in the direction of that object or individual or whatever the case may be, that's fine. You'll find yourself, see how the movement happens, but you always remember that you are. You see the difference? And these videos are the remembrance of what you are. And what you are is the peace that you've been seeking your whole life. The happiness that we've been seeking through obtaining objects and pursuing things. Now, you rest in the joy that you are, which is happening right now. In spite of what may be taking place in your world of appearances, right now you're resting in that joy because you are that joy. I'm pointing to that, that's all. This is not something that's going to happen in the future. You don't have to do anything to earn it or gain it or something. You are. It just have been overlooked, that's all. So now you rest in the beingness that you are while you see how life unfolds through you. and you'll do whatever you're supposed to do according to the life it unfolds through you. The difference is you do it with a different mentality, you see? This is the difference. And that is the smile in the Buddha's face, you know. He knew it was just an appearance. Well, now you know it's an appearance. Of course, not intellectually, you don't go there saying this is all an appearance, you know, but you know. See? And you still live your life as if this was not an appearance. I still go, I still eat, I still exercise, I still do things that people do, like we'll do, that's fine. The difference is that every time a thought will come up that suggests otherwise or is trying to distract me in any way, shape or form, you know, a concern or whatever, it's an opportunity to remember, you see? That's it. What I am. What am I? Who am I? That's all. When I find myself distracted by a seeming judgment somebody may have made about me, or a resentment that may come up, or a thought, whatever, that's an opportunity to remember, okay, wait a minute, that's just a thought that is appearing in what I am, but what I am, what am I? And then there's a recognition that I am. And now I am, and the world of appearances, the seeming life of whatever, this world of expressions, whatever you want to call it, unfolds. Unfolds as it will, and yet I remain as I am. Well, this is inspiration that came through. I hope it served, and as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.